We are living in uncertain times. In a season when it's easy to give in to fear, it's important we keep our eyes fixed on something other than our circumstances or the latest headlines. What we need in this time is perspective.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Chris Wienand. I have the privilege of pastoring a little community here in Costa Mesa called Genesis, and equally privileged to be partnering with some remarkable men and women who lead churches around the city. It's moments like this that we really enjoy the wonder of unity and the joy of collaboration. You know, when I moved here from South Africa 24 years ago, I was curious as to see how I would handle driving on the other side of the road. Being a British colony, we used to drive on the left-hand side of the road. So when we turned, it was tight left, wide right. And then, of course, switching here, it was tight right, wide left. Now, that in and of itself is not problematic. But the question was always, in the moment of crisis, what would my instinct be? What would my first response be? Would I go tight right, wide left? Or would I, in the confusion of it, revert back to my old instinct? Now, Paul, the great apostle who wrote so much of the New Testament, said this to a younger leader. He called him and he said to him, listen, what I'd like you to do, Timothy, he said, first of all, I urge you, by instinct, the first thing when you think about a crisis or a moment of challenge is I urge you, he says, to supplicate. Prayers, intercessions, and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings and all who are in high positions, that we may lead peaceful, quiet life, godly and dignified in every way. This is good, and it is pleasing in the sight of God, our Savior, who desires all men to be saved. Now, you know what is compelling about this text? Pastoring in South Africa during the end of the apartheid era taught us many, many things. Certainly being involved in the pain and plight of a society that was going through transformation required us all, personally and communally, to be men and women of prayer, deep prayer, consistent prayer, protracted times of prayer and fasting. I remember leading our community through a 3-week time of fasting and meeting every night, crying out to God for the nation. You can imagine our joy when we saw the television reveal Nelson Mandela's release from prison. And I have a very vivid memory of him walking out of the prison with his then wife, Winnie. And tears filled my eyes knowing that there were many reasons that brought about his freedom. But one of them for sure was the high intensity of the church owning the story of prayer. In the United States and worldwide, we are facing something quite unprecedented in our time. Our parents and grandparents experienced the war, but this is something very new to us. And I want to ask of us today, can it be that we are men and women whose first instinct, whose first response, like Paul says to Timothy, is prayer, being found in our wonderful Father's presence, where we cry out to God. And then he gives us a kind of a rhythm of prayer, which means let's cry out to God. Let's petition the throne of grace to pray for those in government. So it's for the Trump administration and Congress and Senate. It includes the governor and those at Sacramento. And then, of course, our dear local mayor and city council members, that we really call out to God for them. Firstly, for their protection. Secondly, for their wisdom. Thirdly, that decisions are made by faith and not by fear. I was in the grocery store this morning just picking up a few last-minute supplies, and I was so delighted to see the grace within which people were stocking up. But may it be that we're not a people who react in panic and fear in this time of uncertainty, but rather we're men and women of faith, believing that in this hour of great need, with pain and heartache and sickness and maybe even death, that we bring joy, we bring grace, we bring faith, we bring our prayers to the conversation. What a great story it would be that Costa Mesa be a shining light in quite a dark chapter of this region's history, because we are men and women, boys and girls, who are found in prayer. We're not able to gather in large groups, but we are able to gather in small groups and pray, and then pray some more, and some more after that. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and thank you for being part of the solution in this time of need. God bless you all.
Thank you for joining us for Perspective. We are a group of pastors and community leaders from Orange County who are pulling together to provide a fresh take on the crisis unfolding around us. We invite you to join us each morning for a new perspective on this ongoing pandemic.